Hey, moneymakers, welcome back to another episode of Taking Stock Live. We're bringing you all the latest business news and telling you how it will affect you and your money. I'm Kalila Enriquez Reynolds, and it's my pleasure to be here with you yet another week. Tonight, we are looking at one particular business that is using AI to help other businesses grow, small businesses in particular. And then later on, we're also going to be looking at Amazon stocks and figuring out if maybe this is a good investment for you. But first, I want you to let me know in the chat what part of Jamaica or what part of the world you're joining us from. Hit us up in the comments. Also, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with a friend. Tell them that Taking Stock is on and popping, and we've got all your money news covered. Now, come on, let's get this money. On this episode of Taking Stock, TechSolJa is helping MSMEs grow their businesses using tech and AI. They've launched a new program that helps businesses attract and retain customers. We'll find out more and how this could help your business. Plus, the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments. What's going on with Sagicor's Sigma funds? We'll discuss.
But first, here's What's Hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
The Development Bank of Jamaica has launched a new loan for medium, small, and micro enterprises. It's called Opportunities for Resilient Businesses, Innovation and Transformation, Orbit. It includes $2 billion earmarked for lending to MSMEs in the agriculture, manufacturing, health, and creative industries. Companies can borrow up to 30 million Jamaican dollars at 8% interest with up to 10 years to repay. Companies must make less than $425 million in annual revenue and must use at least 60% of the loan to buy equipment. Visit dbankjm.com for more details. Livingstone Morrison has been named as the new CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. He took office on September 8. Morrison previously served as Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica and is the former chairman of the Regulatory and Market Oversight Committee. He takes over from Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, who retired after 20 years of service to the JSC. Dr. Marlene Street Forrest is expected to receive Jamaica's fourth highest award, the Order of Jamaica, in recognition of her exceptional contribution to the development of the country's capital markets. Jamaica recorded more than 34 million cyber attack attempts in the first 6 months of 2025. According to the latest Fortinet Global Threat Landscape report, attackers have increasingly targeted the manufacturing, telecoms, healthcare, and financial services sectors. Of those, the report said manufacturing was the most targeted for the second year in a row. Attackers have reportedly been calculating the financial cost of delayed production lines and using it as leverage in extortion schemes. Fortinet said that between January and June, its detection systems found 4 million active scans. These scans help cyber criminals identify weak points they can manipulate. After months of back and forth, the US and China finally have a framework for a deal to prevent a permanent TikTok ban. TikTok is set to go offline on Wednesday, September 17, unless its Chinese parent company ByteDance sells its assets to a US company. Texas-based tech company Oracle has been named as the current frontrunner to purchase TikTok. The company was originally given a January 19 deadline and was unavailable to American users for several hours. However, President Trump has extended the deadline several times. U.S. officials said they had the makings of a deal, with China wanting to keep some Chinese cultural aspects of the app.
What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
You don't need to be a financial expert to get your money right. That's why I created the Money Mission Workbook. It's for people like you who want to finally get clear on your money, make a solid plan, manage your debt, and even start investing for the future. Everything you need is in one place. If you're ready to level up, this is where you start. Head on over to Amazon.com to buy now. The link is in my bio. Let's get this money. Welcome back. Let's see who's in the building. We've got Dwight in the house saying he's loving the performance of NCB and hope it continues. Nobody can say anything too bad about that stock again. We got Learn, Grow, Invest in the house waving to us. Garfield is saying good night from Spanish Town, saying, oh, hello to Learn, Grow. Scotty checking in from Kingston. AI is definitely the future, he says. Warrell checking in from Mobay. And we also have Humble Boss in Negril. So let us know where you are joining us from as well. So like I mentioned earlier, tonight we're talking to a company, a small business that has large scale potential, and they are helping other small businesses using AI. The name of this company is TechSolJa. They're a TechSolJa Interactive. Let me get the name right. They're a local company that's trying to innovate how MSMEs use tech to show up for their customers. And joining us for tonight's discussion is co-founder of the company, Jermaine Benjamin. Welcome to Taking Stock, Jermaine.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for getting the name right as well.
TechSolJa Interactive. All right. So before we delve into all the tech stuff, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this industry.
All right. Well, how I got into this is been a personal passion for me, doing small repairs for my neighbors at one point in time, and I realized that God gave me a skill to really get into technology. When we started off, me and my co-founder Leslie Knight, we were just doing repairs, as I said before. But I noticed something about my personal journey. I was a horrible worker. I really shouldn't admit to that, but yes. But I realized that, okay, so if I'm not the world's best worker, there must be something here for me to do. So I started to decide that we wanted to create a business. I wanted to create something that would actually have an impact and to make this country prosper. A lot of persons complain and say Jamaica is this and Jamaica is that, but most persons never actually say, how can I help my country? What can I do in my space to really uplift my country? And I thought being in the business space would be the best way for me to have that impact. And seeing as though God gave me the gift to be involved in the technology space, I said, okay, it must be a technology business. So we started Tech Solutions at the time, and it eventually evolved into TechSol when we registered it as TechSolJa. And I wanted it to be interactive, that it would actually persons would interact with the software, with the solutions that we created. We didn't want to just create solutions and it's just out there lying out. I wanted it to impact the persons and do something. It's weird to say, but I wanted it to be life-changing. I wanted it to transform persons when they interacted with our software and our solution. So that's where the interactive part of it came from.
So tell me specifically what TechSol does.
Okay, all right. Right now we create software, digital solutions for small to medium-sized businesses. So what we really do is, let's just say you're a business owner or a prospective business owner, you're in business and you have certain issues. So, and we believe that through the use of software or digital solutions, we can actually make your business more efficient and more effective in terms of how you do things. So we really are software providers. Digital software providers, I would call it.
Digital software providers. So how do you help those businesses though? Like what specifically enables businesses to benefit from this software?
All right. So let's just say a business is out there and you have, for instance, a particular need in terms of you have some repetitive tasks that you need to be more efficient, to compete and to grow. We are the ones that will create that software and actually build out that dream. We've had persons who have come to us with literally stuff written on a piece of paper and saying, okay, this is what I believe this business can do, which is their business. And we've decided to, okay, how can we innovate and bring that solution that will actually take this dream that this business person or prospective business person has into reality? using software, using AI, using the digital tools that are available, because we're not expecting that when persons decide that they're going to launch your business, they're going to be on top of all the tools that are out there, because AI is just a tool. Or they're be able to code, or they'll be able to whatever technology they need to use to get to that point. So that's where we come in. We bridge the gap. So pretty much, if you need a website, we do it. If you need a mobile app, we do it. If you need a customized system with integrated AI capabilities, we build that too. And then we also look at what your routines are, what your activities are, and see how we can build or customize a system through software for you.
Okay, you finally got to what you actually do, because I was like, I'm still not hearing what you do. So you build websites, you build apps, that sort of thing, using AI.
Yes. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So does that make it more cost effective for the user?
Yes, it does, because what I realize small to medium sized businesses have, in some cases they're suffering from cash flow problems, or they're suffering from staffing problems, and in some cases where it's almost a sole trader, they suffer from the inability to actually. Sometimes persons come to you and say, I wish there was more of me, or I have employees, but pretty much when I have tasks for them to accomplish, I find that they are not doing it to the standard that I'm expecting, and it's now costing my company, because my company is not as effective as I want it to be. So I wish I had two more of myself, but I can't afford two more, or as a business person, I have to come back and do the same task. So what we do is, sometimes in that case, we actually create a system for them, because most times persons don't realize what business really is. It's a system. So whether it's software or just routines that you do, it's really a system. And in some cases, there's a gap missing in that system, and that gap can be filled by software. And that's where we come in.
Why did you decide to niche down specifically to MSMEs?
Okay, all right. So that's where the majority of the productive need is. So the reason why we decided to really go down into small and medium-sized business, first of all, we noticed that when we were doing our advertising and our market research, we realized that's where the greatest need was. And when we put out, for instance, ads, those were most of the respondents that we got. We got persons who were in business or starting businesses who had the issue. So we realized, okay, instead of getting into something like game development, which is more of an entertainment niche or anything like that, why not go into something that will help businesses to grow? And that comes back to what I said originally in regards to helping the country to grow. Because we realize that, as the Prime Minister said, one of the we in terms of our tourism product, that is one of our main exports. Well, not really exports, but one of our main cash earners as a country. But we can't necessarily rely on that too much. We have to look at what is going to be the thing that will drive this country forward in terms of productivity, and that would be the small to medium-sized businesses. That's how any country will grow. So if you are a business that wants to make an impact in the world and in your country, you have to go there. So you have to start with that niche. You have to make that niche more better, more efficient, more effective. You have to revolutionize that niche. And that's why we did that.
Okay. So tell us some of the products that you offer now.
Okay. So we have one main product that we're pushing forward, and that is Crunch Rewards.
Crunch Rewards. Okay.
Crunch Rewards. All right. So what we did with that particular software is to look at all the needs that we had in regards to the small to medium sized businesses that came to us, and we realized that they all suffer the same problem. So we decided, okay, we could tackle this problem in multiple ways. We could have, let's just say, 4 or 5 different software that would deal with invoicing, deal with marketplace representation, deal with customer loyalty and retention. These are all issues that persons were facing. So we said, okay, could we create a giant software or a big software that had different components that would answer to each of these problems? And that's where we came up with Crunch Rewards, the Crunch Rewards software. So this software is different from anything that we've built before because we wanted to innovate. So how that was, it's built in mind that, let's just say, as a business owner, you might be suffering from, let's just say, lack of visibility. So you're in the space, but you're not known. And you're saying, okay, or better yet, you have customers, but you're in a competitive space, so you can't retain them and you can't attract anymore because it's competitive. So can software really solve this problem? Yes, it can. And we did. So the Crunch Reward system really started off as a customer relationship management system. But we decided, as persons came to us, we realized, okay, we need to add in a next module and a next module and a next module. So it's now this giant system that answers all of these problems. So we incorporated all these into one giant system. So it has the customer relationship management system module. It has an invoicing module for those persons suffering from that. Then we integrated a marketplace because in some cases, as I say, you might not be having a problem with invoicing. You might not have a problem with customer retention, but you have a problem with visibility. So how does that work? So what happens is this particular system, you can actually promote your good and service through the same software, and it shows up. And this is the beautiful thing. It starts to show up on your user's phone. So your user,
it's a loyalty program?
It has a loyalty program as well, built in. So it's multiple modules. So really what it is, it actually innovates by answering multiple problems at one time. So the visibility, as I said before, the customer loyalty and retention, the invoicing, if you guys have any issues with that, it has invoicing templates for you to use. And we also, the loyalty part works in terms of the customer retention, where let's just say you have customers and they're not really loyal because it's a competitive space. Let's just say you have a fast food restaurant and you sell, for instance, chicken, and there's somebody else who sells chicken as well. And you're saying, okay, I now have my customers, but they're not really loyal. They're going wherever fried chicken is available. How would this software help me? So one of the reasons where you can do that is to launch a loyalty program by using the software. The software has a built-in loyalty program in it. So you can either go card-based or a digital card. So there's a component app that has a digital card system for any one of your customers, and there's no extra cost for it. It's actually built into that giant software. So it's one software with multiple endpoints and multiple features for small to medium-sized businesses.
All right, so let me get this right. Let me just make sure that I'm accurately understanding what you guys do. So there's one side of the business in which you can build an app or website. You can build a tech solution for a business. And then there's the other side where you have the specific product that you offer that comes pre-made, which is Crunch Rewards, that manages your invoicing, your CRM, your loyalty program, and so on.
Brilliant. That's exactly so. That's exactly so.
So if I wanted to access this product, like what's the price point?
Okay, all right. So pretty much right now we have a introduction for most businesses. So we have a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum membership. So the bronze is it's pretty much free of cost. So once you contact us, we'll put you on that system because we believe that you will see the value and you will see that
Did we lose your video? I think we can still hear you, Jermaine.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but we're not seeing you.
Okay, all right. Can you see? Okay, I'm back.
There you are.
All right. Yes, that is good. All right. So yes. So the question was, could you repeat the question for me, please?
I don't even remember what I asked you. Oh, price point, and you were telling us
Oh,
about
price
the
point.
different
Yes.
tiers
So
of
I said we
membership.
have a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum membership. And the bronze is right now free of cost. As of now, I'm speaking because we believe that upon using the software, you will see the value and you will want to upgrade to the paid membership, which would be the silver. And the silver is pretty much right now just 200,000 Jamaican dollars for the year, not the month, for the year. It's an investment. And what is rolled into that is not just the software, because we are planning to partner with um, business development officials to help persons who are not yet registered. So the brilliance of this, I believe, not tooting my own horn, and you can tell me, Kalila, if I'm doing that, is we wanted it not to just be software, but support. Because what we've noticed is there are persons who build software and just hand it to you, but there's no support. So, okay, so I have the software, it's great, but where's the support? And most of the times when persons get support, the support is only for the software. What about the business? I got into this to make the business grow, not just to buy software. So when you are at the silver membership level, and we call it a membership at this point, you will actually not just get the software, but you will also be networking with similar or like-minded individuals who are engaged in business. So you'll get to learn from that, which was also a pain point that we noticed while building software. Persons were saying, okay, we got the software, but okay, what do I do now? I have this other problem. I know nobody in my space. I've networked with nobody in my space. How do I get the benefit of that? So we say, okay, let's make this crunch rewards situation not just software, but partner with businesses and development officials that can actually help you to grow. So it's all in one.
So
And
for
I and
those
I
who, so for those who already have some software, what would this replace?
this
Like
will
what? Give me
replace.
some examples. Like what would it replace? Would it replace
Okay,
my
good stuff. All
QuickBooks,
right, this will
my what?
replace. Okay, this will replace your Salesforce, or it can integrate into your Salesforce if that's what you want to do, or if you're using other CRMs. If you're using, it will not replace your Peachtree if you're using your Peachtree. There's no deep accounting there. But if you have no form of invoicing, you're just writing something down on a piece of paper, that will definitely replace your piece of paper. So that's something. So you'll have better accounting. You'll have invoices with numbers that you can actually use, again, reuse. And there is a social network app that is being built currently, and that it comes free of cost, and it is part of the same software, and it's how you will network with other business professionals. It's more like your LinkedIn. It's built like your LinkedIn. It's not as powerful and robust as your LinkedIn, but it's more localized to you. So therefore, if I'm in the, let's just say, back to that analogy of I'm a restaurateur with who does fried chicken, I would interact with other persons who are in that same space who, for instance, they fry chicken, but they're at a more advanced state. And they can tell me, okay, this is what you need to do. So what that will replace is a lot of small business persons seem to be on WhatsApp. They are in millions of WhatsApp groups. They are on a whole ton of WhatsApp groups. We're not saying we're replacing WhatsApp. Let me be very specific. But we're saying instead of having 100 WhatsApp groups with business persons on it, we have a social network app, yes, on both the Google and an iOS store that is coming out, that you would have access to. So you don't have to pull up your phone just to network with persons who can get your business ahead. So that is part of the membership. So that's software that really works for you and makes your business better. So that's why we're so confident with say, okay, let's give away some free space and free uses of the bronze model, the bronze level, because we know that when persons use it, they're going to say, okay, I want to get silver. I want to go up there.
Let's take some questions from the audience. So Grandeur Foods wants to know, can your software integrate with a POS database?
Yes, we could customize it for that particular individual. So we could.
So it currently doesn't, the
It does
standard
no, it
product that you
doesn't,
have.
because it's general. I would have to know your POS
Okay.
database to integrate it.
Andrea wants to know, do you identify inefficiencies as opposed to building a system to suit an efficient way of operating? Also, can you share from a retail sector what efficient system your company created and purpose?
Okay, all right. So I won't state the name of this client, but the client is in the medical sector. And what we noticed was a particular inefficiency in regards to how customer records were accessed. It was very monotonous and it was very overbearing for the workers there. They had to be looking to individual records in order to access data in a timely manner. So what we did was to create a system that the AI would actually be able to access certain parts of the database and give them real updates, live updates, actually in a timely manner. So, for instance, let's just say persons had surgeries and they had to be calling in and actually say, okay, when is my surgery date again? And we found out that a lot of customers were calling this particular entity because they wanted to know this simple thing: when is my surgery date? And we said, okay, how can we have a two-way solution? So we had, okay, the surgeon put in the data, and then we had a companion app for that particular entity where the customers downloaded that application that would actually add that surgery date to their calendar. So therefore, they would get the reminder. Because remember, in some cases, persons don't even add their surgery date to their actual calendar. So the AI did that part of it. So we integrated that AI into the system. And it goes without saying, every system we build, we integrate AI in it as well to make it as efficient as we can.
Marley wants to know, what platform is your software built on?
Okay. Multiple. I wonder if when she said what platform, she means in terms of what models we use, in terms of AI models. In terms of, or is it in terms of the languages we use, in terms of programming language? We use multiple. If we're using desktop, we use C or something. And if it's a web solution, then we use web languages like PHP, that kind of situation.
And Learn, Grow, Invest wants to know, how secure is the platform and does it abide by data protection laws?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If we are working with any client or if it's our particular platform, we only take the data that we need and we dispose of it the moment we don't need it. So we abide definitely by the Data Protection Act. We live by it.
Last question comes again from Andrea. Can the loyalty side integrate with QuickBooks Online?
We haven't tried it as yet, but let me answer that one. How we envision software at TechSol is software is a living thing. It sounds weird to say, but let me explain what I mean. Let's just say you have a software that does X and Y. Your software should not just only do X and Y for 3, 4, 5 years. As the needs of the customer actually evolve, your software must evolve, and we believe in that. So let's just say currently we don't integrate with QuickBooks. That doesn't mean we won't integrate with QuickBooks, because as the need arises and we see that more persons want us to integrate with QuickBooks, we will integrate with QuickBooks. All right, I hope that answered that question.
So, all right, so we're going to almost leave it there. Clearly, there is some interest in your product amongst our viewers. So how can people get in contact with you?
Okay, all right. So you can get in contact with us because you can WhatsApp us at 876-777-3386. So that's 876-777-3386. You can WhatsApp us through that number. You can also email us at sales@techsolja, that's TECHSOLJA.SITE. So any of the two methods, but the WhatsApp is more quicker and you'll always get somebody.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Jermaine.
Thanks for having me.
All the best. Big things coming from TechSolJa. TechSolJa. Now, before we go to our next segment, it is time for tonight's poll question. As you know, the Jamaica Stock Exchange now has a new CEO. What should be his new priority or his top priority? That's Livingston Morrison is the new CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. What should be his top priority as the new CEO of the JSE? Here are your options. Addressing those late filings, that's A. B. Improving investor confidence. C. Short selling, which they've been promising for years now. Or other, leave a comment and let us know what you think should be the top priority of the new CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Leave your answers in the chat. You can also take that poll on Twitter or on the community tab here on YouTube and in tomorrow's email. Up next, we've got your market recap, and our analyst is standing by. Market Recap is brought to you by MyMoneyJA, the official data partner of Money Media. The JSE Combined Index lost almost 3,000 points last week. That's about 1%. 126 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, September 12, 2025. 39 made gains, 66 lost value, and 21 stayed the same. 132 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $648 million. TransJam was the week's most traded stock, with 91 million shares changing hands. It started the week at $3.72. Fosrich slipped 2% to start Monday at $2.13. And Sagicor Select Funds Financial rounded out last week's most traded stocks, up 2%. Now let's see who had the biggest gains. Pulse was the JSE's top stock, up 27% to open the week at $1.03. Cygnus Credit Investments' 8.5% preference shares due 2026 was the second biggest gainer, up 17%, and G West Corporation rounded out the top stocks, up 16%. On the losing side now, ISP Finance lost 34% to start the new week at $11.30. Guardian Holdings fell 13% to open Monday at $325.02, and PBS 10.5% fell almost 13%. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index fell 17 points last week. That's about 2%. Massey was the TTSE's most traded stock. It opened Monday at $3.54 TT. AS Bryden was the TTSE's top gainer, up 15%. And on the losing side, Guardian Media fell 11% to open Monday at 66 cents TT. Over in the U.S., the Dow Jones and S&P 500 went up about 1% last week, while the Nasdaq gained 1.5%. At the pumps, gas prices in Jamaica fell $2.81 last week, while the cost of regular diesel climbed 87 cents and low-sulfur diesel was up 42 cents. In foreign exchange trading, it took an average $161.52 Jamaican to purchase $1 US last Friday. That's 21 cents more than the week before. $1 Canadian cost an average $119.09 Jamaican. $1 British pound cost $218.40 Jamaican. And you could buy €1 for $192.99 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices gained about 1% over the past 5 days, trading at $114,709 on Monday. Meanwhile, Ethereum was up 3%, trading at $4,494 on Monday. Market Recap was brought to you by MyMoneyJA, the official data partner of Money Media. Subscribe to my newsletter for money news like this straight to your inbox. Go to getmoneynews.com to sign up. The link is in my bio. Let's get this money. This segment of Taking Stock, The Analysts, is brought to you by Sagicor Investments. The views expressed in this segment are not necessarily the views of Money Media. This information is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Welcome back. Before we introduce our analyst for this evening, let me take a few comments. Betty Pringle says, wishing him success for our entrepreneur spotlight this evening. Grandeur says, C. All right, so our poll question was, what should be the top priority for the new CEO of the JSC, Livingstone Morrison? Your options were A, addressing late filings, B, improving investor confidence, C, short selling. So Grandeur says C. Moments with Stace says A, which is addressing the late filings. Christopher says D, so another thing, innovation, short selling, margin account, options, regional stock exchange platform, etc. So a whole laundry list of things that should be the priority. We should be getting our first interview with Livingstone Morrison soon. We're hoping for today. It didn't quite work out today, but very soon we should be having that discussion. Right now, though, it is time for the analysts, and our analyst this evening is Jodianne Aris, Assistant VP at Sagicor Investments. Welcome back, Jodianne.
Hi, thanks. Hi, everyone.
All right, so this evening we are looking at Amazon stock. Tell us what's been going on with Amazon.
All right. Well, first, before we touch on Amazon, just to mention that we are the Federal Open Market Committee is in their September meeting. It's ongoing, so they would have started today, and then by tomorrow we'll get a press release on that monetary policy action, as well as they'll provide some amount of summary on some of the economic projections that they're seeing for key macroeconomic indicators. And this is, we're already seeing that the market has started to price in an expected first rate cut for 2025. So when you look at what most persons following the US market or in the US market are saying, is that they're expecting that there's likely to be a cut to come when the announcement comes tomorrow. And that would have been positive news for equities. So we have started to see some movement or continued movement in US equities based on that decision. And so for those areas or sectors that are more closely aligned or have that more greater direct one-to-one relationship with interest rates, we're likely to see that would be having some positive performance or positive impact for those companies. So when you think of companies that are in financial space or companies that in the US market would be considered more small cap because they tend to have more linkages towards variable rates in terms of borrowing for expansion or borrowing for growth. And so a rate cut, if it comes, it's still a speculation at this point, if it comes, would be something positive for those type of companies. I wanted to look at Amazon because one, I was purchasing something the other day and it had Amazon Prime shipping, and I was just like, why is it still taking 2 weeks? What happened to Prime 2-day shipping? And apparently that
to where? To Jamaica?
No, it was to a US account. It's a US address. Well, apparently Amazon 2-day shipping is going. It's not guaranteed as it would have been promoted when it started. And the other thing is that I started to notice that there were some ads for Prime big deal days coming up in early October. And so I wanted, I was like, didn't they just have a Prime Day or Prime Time or, and when I checked back, I wanted to see how those were performing and how it would have impacted their performance. So that really pushed me to look at Amazon. And so what we're seeing is that for that particular stock for year to date so far, over the past year, we'd have seen a 25% upside in terms of the price for Amazon. It navigates what we call a competitive landscape, and it's facing some amount of headwinds as there's increased competition coming from Target, who has been expanding their delivery service. So while Amazon has campaigned quite a bit in terms of Prime with the 2-day shipping in past, we're seeing now where their main competitor, or a big competitor for them, is coming out with the delivery service that could provide some headwinds for Amazon. But they continue to do expansion, and so they're tapping into new areas and they're expanding. As we know, they have their own web services, which taps into the AI space of things, as well as they look at other type of ads and stuff that provide boost income for them. So for their financial performance, when we looked at Q2, we're seeing a mix of improving profitability, gross and operating margins would have expanded, and this would have been pointing to an improvement in core profitability. However, there is a bit of decline in the operational efficiency when you look at inventory turnover and how it is that they are managing the assets. And so that would have weakened And so that, provides a little bit of challenge in terms of how it is that we're viewing the stock going forward. However, revenues would have remained solid. When you looked at the prime weekend that they would have had in July, that would have seen revenues over that period growing by about 30%. And so that would have been something that would have been good and stimulated activity for the company. EPS, the growth in the EPS, so EPS is still growing, but that growth is not as strong. So when you look at prior years, it was growing at probably around 70%. That would have dipped to about 50-something%. And still strong growth, but slowing growth. And so that is one of the things that, we'd highlight as a negative. But generally, the analysts that are looking at Amazon are seeing it, are giving it a bullish view. And so they are pricing in some amount of upside potential that could still be seen for Amazon going forward. And just to touch on, as mentioned, they're expanding into healthcare services. So they would have been doing a collaboration to access insurance-covered nutrition counseling. And this would be a significant step into a new space for them, as well as they do have, as mentioned, Amazon Web Services and their generative AI. And that would have seen some amount of triple-digit growth year over year. And as we know, and we have been seeing with most of the bigger tech companies on the market, that's really a big multi-billion-dollar business that they are tapping into as well. And they would have done some partnerships in terms of Amazon ads, which should reap some amount of rewards for them to come. I think even though their generative AI and Amazon Web Services is a big catalyst for growth, the other thing to note is that there are a bit of constraints there because they are not leading in this space. So they're a little bit lag in terms of the AI. And when you look at their cloud-based servicing, their power and the chip shortages would have some impact for them. So they are not dominant in the space. So that is, a bit of the headwinds. But however, they are looking to expand. And so that provides opportunity for some amount of growth for Amazon.
I saw that they are pushing their Amazon Healthcare even more now. I got an email inviting me to Amazon Healthcare. I didn't click on it to check on it because I doubt it is applicable here in Jamaica. But that's another major revenue stream that they're also pursuing.
Yeah. So that's one of the big ones in terms of expansion that they're likely to come with, or that they're building out. So they would have collaborated, I think, with Faye is the name of the company, to really expand into health services as one of their strategies for growth going forward. And one of the things that Amazon is that it's not a company that pays dividend, so they really do take profits and put back into the company for future growth. So they're always looking at ways to expand and to develop and to kind of grow the company and to make it improve on that profitability.
Have they been impacted? Well, let me not ask have they. Obviously they have. How have they been impacted? To what extent have they been impacted by the new tariff regime?
So we'd have seen some impact there, and it's also one of the risks when we look forward, as in the potential increases for when you look at the revenue that they would have brought forward, and how it is that would have some impact. So it is actually one of the key headwinds that we're seeing. How it is that tariff uncertainty. I think when we look generally across most companies for the Q2 results, where it is that there would have been that high expectation for tariff impact, it wasn't as pronounced in terms of the results as we would have thought. But it still remains an uncertainty and a headwind for most companies because there is still ongoing negotiations as we see. So sometimes things may seem a little bit tempered, but as we continue, there's a new discussion that happens and that could have some impact. So it is one of the things to watch, particularly as it is that they manage inventory. And we already see where there's a bit of an operational efficiency fall off with how it is that they're managing inventory and that asset turnover. So it is something that could further impact the company in that space.
Mm-hmm. Now, if Jamaicans wanted to invest in Amazon, and I'm sure many of them do, how could they go about doing that from here?
Well, you could do so with Sagicor Investments. So you are able to gain exposure by using Sagicor Investments as your broker in the US. And so you would be able to do so, contact our Sagicor Investment Wealth Advisor, and they'll be able to give you guidance as to how about you go about placing an order, and we'd be able to do that purchase on your behalf. And also, for us at Sagicor, we also do have a Sigma Global Equity Fund, a USD fund, which is one of our suite of collective investment schemes. So it is a unit trust product, and that would be purchasing on your behalf in the US market. So there are quite a bit of options in the US when you look at it. Many companies from which you can choose. And so instead of you trying to figure out which one to take up, the fund manager does that work, and so you could buy into that fund. So it is largely invested in equities. However, they do have a bit of fixed income to provide liquidity, should that be something that they need to provide for investors. And it does provide returns in line with the S&P 500. And so that is another option for investors. So you could directly purchase Amazon on your own, as well as purchase any other US equity through Sagicor Investments, or you could gain exposure by purchasing in the Sagicor Sigma Global Funds, Sigma Global Equity Fund.
Georgia is agreeing with you, Ree, the Fed decision tomorrow. She says rate cut is coming for sure. The question is, will it be 25 or 50 basis points? How deep do you think they're going to go?
Well, I think I think 25 is probably the safer answer, considering that they're also, well, what would be largely pushing a cut is that there is a bit of weakness in the labor market. What we'll also have to pay in mind is that is a dual mandate that the Federal Reserve, that the Fed has. They're also looking at labor as well as inflation. And inflation in terms of movement towards that 2% target has not been very fast. So we, at the start of the year, would have started to see a bit of a slowdown in terms of the annual inflation rate. But then by mid-year, we noticed that started to bounce back up. So in terms of a trajectory towards around 2% target, that has not been forthcoming. And so I think the safer bet is that, it would be around 25 basis points, because they have to do, look at the both sides, even though they are seeing a bit of weakness in the labor market.
The final one is a question from Rob, who wants to know what's the cost for, I guess, working with Sagicor Investments, commissions, etc. Like, what is the cost associated with starting that investment account and making those investments in, say, Amazon, for example?
Right. So there is a cost. There is a commission-based cost. I know we have been looking recently to do a bit of a switching up in terms of how it is that we do that costing. So I definitely recommend that you talk to your wealth advisor to get that direct, exact number. However, for the Sigma funds, there is just a minimum of $25,000 to start.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for this input, Jody Ann. It's much appreciated as usual.
Alrighty.
We'll take our final break and come back with your comments. What? It's in the budget. 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 Download my free budgeting template at buildyourbudgets.com. Welcome back. Okay, so it's been a great show. Thank you so much for joining us yet another week. We appreciate your presence as usual. Lots going on. It's September. How are your kids adjusting to school? How are you adjusting to the traffic? All the road closures uptown. OMG. You would have seen my rant about that last week. But how are you adjusting? How are things going? We are heading into the final quarter of the year. So Q4 starts October 1. We have 2 weeks left in Q3. I feel like 2025 just breezed by. It's just, the older you get, I guess, the shorter time seems. But it's been my pleasure serving you for yet another week. Leave a comment in the chat. Tell a friend about taking stock, because investing is what? The new sexy. So let's make it cool to talk about money. I have to laugh when I said the new sexy, because my DMs have been on fire today. Oh boy, what did I do? What did I do? I almost deleted the post, but guess what? Have an eyeful. You can follow me all over social media at Kalila.money. Kalila Money on Twitter, Kalila.money on Instagram, Kalila Reynolds, I think, probably on Facebook, and also Money Media JA on Instagram. And make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter. Go to getmoneynews.com to subscribe to that newsletter. You get all the alerts, you get all the news. If you want to know what's coming up on Money Media for the week, you're going to get that entire overview as well. And head on over to moneymissionja.com as well if you are interested in any of the courses: Investing for Beginners, Build Your Budget, Debt Do-Over, Money Mission Premium, and all the stuff that is to come. Don't forget to grab your copy of the workbook. I don't have a copy near me now to show you, but yeah, the workbook is available on Amazon.com and restocking in Fontana this week. Also coming to an online platform near you for local delivery in the next couple of weeks, by the end of this month as well, for those of you who've been asking for local delivery. Did I miss anything? If you see any fake pages, anybody's reaching out to you, asking you to invest with me, quote unquote, the fake me, just know that that is a scam. That is not me. Please report those pages. My only pages are verified, especially on Instagram. I pay that $7.99 every month for that blue check so that you guys can know which one is the real me, the real Kalila Reynolds. Please stand up. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.